So I wanted to show a little clip of what I've been working on with Castor. So a lot of the times he wants to come right up to the fence when I go get him, which he still does. But I'm trying to work on him not being quite as excitable when I show up. So like right now he has a hay net. If you can see in the shade here, he's chewing on a hay net. And then he's going to come up to me here in a minute. But this is really important for him. It might not seem that important, but this is very good for him because he would be like a little overexcited and wanted to be at the gate, wanted to be pushing against the gate, pounding against the gate. And I think a little bit of that was anticipation, obviously, because he's going to get treats. And then the other part of that is he's a little bit bored out where he's at. So, like in this case, I gave him a hairnet, and then he was a lot more relaxed and calm coming up to the fence and coming to start with me. So I just can't went ahead and rewarded him for coming up, and then I'm just gonna give him a jackpot here. But like it is winter time, there's not a whole lot of grass out there. Like obviously he's turned out 24/7, but he's still like kind of bored. He's very like inquisitive, curious horse, and he needs to keep his mind busy. So just the difference between giving him a hay net or giving him a flake of hay before I work really calmed down like his anxiousness, and like he wasn't quite as excitable, and he was more willing to think and slow down and not be as excited and about the food and stuff. Like he still wants to participate and he's willing to participate, but it just helped him relax so much more. So I wanted to show this little clip with that because that's really helped him a whole lot. And then I do want to show the rest of this where I'm working on leading because it's not perfect. Like he still wants to kind of cut in front of me, and he does a lot of anticipation. Like he wants to like line himself up to the fence because I did train him to do that, like you saw in the beginning. But I did have it on cue as well. But he goes right to that because that was one of the first things I ever taught him. So instead of teaching him a proper like this, so I'll get back to that in a second, but I'm walking here and he's way ahead of me. So I'm just going to turn, go the other way. And I see I should have clicked right there where he's right next to me, but then see he's too far ahead. So that's what I had a lot of problems with in the beginning of my clicker training, is because even when he had that small little tiny like progress where he's right behind me, I didn't want to see it. I wanted to wait until he was like doing more. I didn't break it down enough for him because like right now he's like, I'm supposed to be here, I'm supposed to be here, where's my food, where's my food? And like he's trying to get too close to me. Like here he's better, like he's got his head even, like I would say even maybe a little too far in front of me. I'd want him a little bit further back. But the longer I went without reinforcing, the more frustrated he got. So that was a huge problem for me. Like even in this clip, like, and this is a more recent clip, like I should have clicked while he was right behind me when I make that turn. So I'm showing him very clearly what I want because he's just going to throw in more behaviors as he gets more frustrated. So that's a huge thing for him. And then what I was saying earlier is I should have had the calm default where he's just standing and waiting for me, head straight, relaxed, as his first behavior. But again, when I first started training them, like it was just here I'm rewarding him for just staying relaxed. But in the beginning, it was a lot of experimentation. I didn't really know what I was doing. And then you can see how powerful those first behaviors you teach a horse are, because one of the first things he did, and a lot of the things we did, was side pass up to the fence and stand there because we did a lot of work in protected contact. So that's what his like go to. And so then he'll just come up and like, he doesn't get too close. Like we're on the other side of the fence. Like he doesn't do that when I'm like coming into him, like coming into the fence or into his pasture. But he does do that against the gate, and he just like gets too close and wants to crowd the gate. He does back up when I want him to, but I do want to just get rid of that crowding behavior. So you can see him here. I'm asking him to back up. But then again, like when I ask him to back up, like, I'm just cueing another behavior that I can reinforce. So I'm just gonna ask him to stand still here because he's still stuck on that backup. I'm like, just let's hit and target, and then we'll finish our fly spray here. Um, but that's kind of what we're working on. Those are some of the ideas that I have, and then I'm just gonna cruise through this fly spraying here real fast, and we'll continue on with the lesson. So I want to go back to working on some leading. Again, he's too close, so I just turn around. I should click here. I should have clicked there because then he's in the correct position. That's what I want. But then I get going too long. He gets more frustrated and he throws in more behaviors. From this angle, I can't really tell. I'm sure he was better from what I was seeing when I was working with him, and that's why I clicked and rewarded him. But see, he's so far ahead. He wants to crowd. He wants to get in front of me. That was better. I should click that. But I'm just using the fence as protected contact so that he has that barrier. He doesn't come and get super close to me, but he will do that same behavior. He will leave this space, but he does want to like try to step in front of me, and like he gets frustrated because he's not being rewarded for anything. So he's trying all these other behaviors. He's like, oh, well, the food's leaving, so I'm trying to get in front of you, or try to get to the side of you, like kind of cut you off so you don't leave with the food. So if I would have just rewarded those other behaviors, where like as soon as I turn and he's in that correct position, I should have clicked and fed. So, and then I could build it up from there. And then if he's a little bit ahead of me, I will feed him back in position. So he might have to step a few steps back to get to that reward. So this is much better. So he let me walk forward, and he kind of stayed there for a second. So the other thing is what causes problems, cues. So in the beginning, I didn't know like I should be cueing each behavior. Like with negative reinforcement, you can just walk away from your horse and like it's not a big deal. But with positive reinforcement, they're like, hey, where are you going? What did I do? What should I do? Like, there's no direction. And then you get horses following you, you get horses anxious, you get horses chasing after you like this, frustrated horses, and all this stuff. So if I could go back and fix it, I would put, once everything was solid, like I would start with that foundation behavior of just him standing relaxed. I would be able to cue that behavior. I would have a good leading and good leading position, and then I would have a good stay. So then at every point in time, if I'm leading and I need to go do something, or if I need to go in the barn and get something, I can put him in stay. I can go do it and come back. So then he's very clear on when he's supposed to follow me and when he's not. And that's what's causing all this, is he's not clear on when he's supposed to follow me and when he's not. So then that's where you get all these frustration behaviors. So I'm just rewarding him for standing here nicely. I should have clicked and fed a little bit more because he's standing and he's being nice and calm, and this is what I want, is that calm default. Like he stands straight and just hangs out. This is better. He's still a little bit ahead of me. He's got his ears pinned there. That's better. I probably could have clicked that where he kind of pauses. Click that. There. Okay, so at least I got that one. I am missing some clicks there. So that's just another part of it. Like it's not going to be perfect, but I want to kind of show you some of the mistakes that I've been making and where I would fix them. And then I'm learning from it too, because I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Like I could have done that better, I could have done this better. I learned so much from making these videos and seeing what I'm doing wrong, because when you're out there, it's definitely different. This is better, clicking him for being in position. I could have definitely increased the rate of reinforcement here and like really clicked fed a lot more, because he's in the position I want. So I just went back to that habit I have of just like standing and waiting, standing and waiting. I need to feed a smaller amount of reinforcement so I could just rapid fire, click feed, click feed, click feed. I'm just getting some stuff off his face. But what I had originally was I was using alfalfa cubes. And so then I would break them up, but he'd still have a lot of chew time, which is good for certain behaviors. But for beginning behaviors that I want to reward and rapid fire and like give him a bunch of treats for, it's not great, because then he's got to, and then he's got to chew, and then his mouth is full, and like, then you can have problems from there. So I should have been using, like right now I'm using the chopped hay. I should have been using that from the beginning and just giving really small ones so I could continue to reinforce over and over again. So like here I'm like messing with my phone or doing something else I could have been reinforcing. This is better. So that's where that ear pinning comes from. They're like, they don't have the solid cue of when you're leaving and when you're not. So they see you leave, they're like, oh, come back. Oh, don't leave with the food. Like it's negative punishment. You're taking away a resource that they want. So that's where a lot of that frustration can come in. So I definitely should have, like right now he is getting a cue. I'll say walk on, or I'll have a hand target that he can follow. And then if I don't want him to follow, I will put in the stay cue. So but I definitely should have done that in the beginning. That would have made my life a lot easier. Again, I could have been feeding quickly here, so because I need to be rewarding him for his position where he's at right now. Like, oh, this is the position I want you to be in. Click feed, click feed, click feed. I got way too much time in there, and he's much better. So like, I don't have that head turn in there. Like he is chewing, but if I had that smaller piece of reinforcement, I could continue to feed and reinforce, and then I wouldn't get all those other behaviors in there. But he's standing nicely. I'm giving him a little jackpot here. So he is better, like from that beginning part, but I still have a couple things that I could work on. I had given him the jackpot on the ground, and then I went and filled up my bag again while he was eating, let him finish chewing that. And then I'm right here, I'm giving him the hand target, asking him to walk on, and he followed in the correct position really, really well. So I only went like 2 steps there, rewarded him, and then I'm giving him a whole bunch of food. So I'm gonna give him a nice jackpot, like do it really slowly. Like I know leading is hard because it could be, I need to lead him to my work area or I need to lead him to and from the pasture. That's why I'm working with him in his pasture. I'm trying to like work where he is and not try to do a lot of leading where it's frustrating and we have to go a long distance. And then I'm also using the fence as or as protective contact. Fence is off. He's not afraid of the fence. If your horse is afraid of the fence, like this is an electric fence, try to work somewhere else without the electric fence. But he is not afraid of it. So that's what my thoughts were as far as why I have him set up like this. And then I'm trying to work from just a step in the correct position, 2 steps, 3 steps, and I'm rebuilding it. So I know this can be frustrating because, leading is a very basic thing. We use it all the time, like most horses know how to do it, but I need to go back and redo that behavior so that he's in the correct position. I can get rid of that ear pinning and frustration, and then I can be very consistent with my cues. So when I want him to go forward and when I want him to stay. So I'm just going to fast forward while he is chewing here. Or maybe he's done. Um, Fast forward through him eating his jackpot here. There we go. Okay, so he's done. So I have my hand target there. I asked him to go forward like 2 steps, clicked him. That was perfect. He's really getting it a lot better now. Like you can tell from that very beginning of the clip where he's like, oh, should I be in this position, get in front of you, side pass? Like, what should I do? I have to be very, very clear and very structured and very specific and take little tiny steps to get where I want to go. Because right now, like, yes, I'm taking 2 steps forward leading. And a lot of people, including myself, are like, oh, well, I already lead him everywhere, but I need to go back and fix that behavior because we're leading everywhere, but he's cutting in and he's ear pinning. So it's not a good finished behavior. I need to go back and fix it. So if I go 2 steps now, then I can do 4, then I can do 8, then I can do 16. I can build on it much quicker. So I know a lot of people are not thrilled about going back, but it's necessary to go ahead and fix that. So I'm gonna again fast forward while he eats. Well, okay, he's done again. I'm gonna fast forward while he eats, but we're gonna go the other way. And I like how he's turning nice and slowly. Oh, I should have clicked all that because that was really good. Okay, so I got part of it. Because he's not trying to spin around and like get in front of me going the other way. He was nice and slow. That was fantastic, like perfect. So he's munching there on his food. Maybe take a little step forward. That's all right. I'm not too worried about this. Probably could have reinforced him a little bit more for standing still here. Again, the smaller reinforcement because I'm waiting for him to chew here. So I give him a little bit bigger handful. I'm waiting for him to chew, but then once he kind of like is almost done chewing, he'll kind of throw in another behavior. So if I have a smaller one, I can cut down that time of feeding in between feeding. So I asked him to walk forward there. That was perfect. I'm going to give him a big reward on the ground here. I'm just giving him a big jackpot. I'm like adding different jackpots. So I'm showing him, yes, this is exactly what I want. So I'll fast forward through that. I'm just going to click him for standing and being relaxed. That was great. I really like his body language here. He's nice and relaxed. I give him my hand cue, my voice cue. Look, he's so much slower. Oh, that was perfect. Really love that. I'm going to reward that a bunch. Much, much better. So we're making some progress, as you can see from the beginning of the video to the end here. I just got to keep being consistent with it and reinforcing at a higher rate. I think we'll get this figured out.